this is my portion of the world that I've created so far. One thing that I'm proud that I've worked out is the mechanics for a shrinking iceberg that also generates polar bears on top of it at the game start, which slowly shrinks over time. The goal of this level is to try and corral polar bears into this section over here. It's slightly messed up because I was trying to practice with the game and accidentally destroyed some blocks. Over here is a generator using the command block to hit salmon in order to lure the polar bears. And over here is another command block used to generate new boats. Now for this game, for this level, you can use the boats in order to transport the polar bears back to safety. And the goal is to try and get the polar bears over to this area over here where the iceberg completely shrinks. You can enter here and then using the boat, turn and actually here pick up polar bears, which I can then transfer over here. Some things I'm currently working on now is one, making an easy mechanic in order to get the polar bears out of the boat, because currently you have to destroy the boat in order to get the polar bears out. Another thing I'm working on is having some sort of code that automatically triggers a win when the polar bears are all transported over here. Finally, I've been having problems with other animals other than polar bears generating in my world, so I need to create code that makes sure that no animals except polar bears are generated. Finally, I need to replace this kind of ice because I didn't realize until after creating this level that this ice actually spawns polar bears anyways when I only want them to spawn over here at this level. Overall though, I'm happy with the alpha version of this level and I'm looking forward to improving it. I'm also going to randomly generate icebergs in the water too to make it more difficult to get to them, to add some more difficulty to this level.
Alright, this is Dev Diary Week 1. Just gonna show off all the changes that I've made to our world in the past week. We got this starting area that I built where we're gonna have NPCs essentially explaining the game or the point of the game. And we hit the button over there to go to the starting area. And this right here is just a button to get back to the top so that I don't have to keep flying around. But if you look in this room, you'll see that there's 3 areas. 2 of them are blocked off right now because, well, haven't really finished building those rooms. But if you go in here and look at this, you see this is basically a cage. And the point of this is to essentially rescue a polar bear from this stage. There's going to be an iceberg in the middle of this or somewhere in this pool of water that's going to shrink, and you have to run and get the polar bear to safety. Hit this button, go back to the top and back to the starting room, and this pretty much concludes the Dev Diary for this week. I'm currently planning on putting a little more hours to finish building the world completely so that Casey can go in and add all the other game mechanics that are code based. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Alright, this is Div Diary Week 3. Just going to go over the changes we made since the beta test. You can see in the distance we have 2 simulation areas, one for the polar bears, one for the pandas. Dude's dialogue has changed slightly from the last time. And here's another dude, his dialogue has changed, and you can also interact with him with this button. You can say yes and enter the main facility. Here's Lab Dude. He has changed information from the last time. And this dude right here, he'll give you some food if you talk to him. This dude on the side right here will give you an item if you talk to him. This strange looking dude in the middle right here will tell you all about the simulation room. And this guy right here will take you to the actual start of the simulation. The polar bear simulation has changed slightly. Casey has made the area wider and added more icebergs. For example, you can see them here, here, and here, and here, and here, and here. And there's a lot of polar bears around because I just reset everything and they keep spawning every time I do that, but that's fine. We've added more command blocks. And these essentially turn the difficulty, or increase the difficulty in preparation for the second level, and places a redstone torch, which I'll explain the reason for that later. And these sort of just open the door from the last area. So we go back. And you can see that this is all disappeared now that you're here. So now you can go back in here, and you can see this observation dude. He tells you some stuff. And this hardly important dude takes you to the polar bear holding area, where you can meet info dude, who will tell you or give you a little bit of facts and tells you some more stuff. This guy right here, his dialogue's not really complete yet, but he takes you back to the simulation room. Where you meet strange looking dude again. And this is the panda bear poaching simulation, or poaching. So let's enter this one. Our goal is to kill 8 skeletons who will act as poachers in this little exercise. Mercenary dude tells you all about this. He's very excited, you can see based on his dialogue. But he'll give you armor and he'll give you some weapons. I'm a creative, so I'm not gonna really bother with showing all of that. Let's just go into the code. There's kind of a bug a little bit with this because they're peaceful, the mobs don't spawn. But let's just switch it to easy. Start the game. And you can see there's skeletons all around here. Let's go back into the code. You can see that it says on monster killed. It'll change the number of skeletons killed by 1. And when they reach 8, it'll place a redstone torch at this position. The position in question is here. So when you beat it, it'll place a torch here, opening this door, allowing you to talk to this NPC, whose dialogue is also not finished, and it'll allow you to go back to the simulation room. And we'll also replace the door and place another redstone torch. Oh, I don't know if I mentioned this, but this is all this area and that area was all Casey's work. The code right here is Casey's work. I'm just going over the changes that he made as well, because we're sharing the same role. So let's go back. Okay, now the game's set to peaceful again, so there's no more mobs, and you have the other area. This is another observation dude. He tells you some nice info. This is a slightly important dude. He'll tell you that whenever you're ready, you can visit the holding area, and we will do that. So you can see this is the holding area. These NPCs don't have names yet because I haven't named them, but they have some dialogue. That's he gives you another fact, and this guy gives you another fact, and this guy will take you back to the simulation room. But you can see back here, there's a door before. It's gone now because we completed both objectives. So you have 3 options. You can go to the head dude's living quarters. Well, not really, because there's a torch that needs to be placed under here before you can get in there. But I'm not going to tell you how to do that. That's a secret. Head dude's right here. He'll let you open the admin hub. I'm going to go ahead and show this off because it's kind of easy, and I don't know why I didn't set this up before. But here we go. That's a wall or a door. And as soon as you press the button, boom, the door is gone and it's replaced with carpet. And you can also leave the facility. I'll save that for last. Here's Dudette. If you talk to her, she'll take you to the upper levels of the holding areas, and you'll come out here. Let's fly around. You can see this wholly unremarkable dude. I'll tell you some info, but he's really just there, or it's not info, but more like Easter eggy stuff, I guess. But he's basically just so you can get back to the admin room. There's nothing else in this here really, aside from the fact that you can like see the polar bears. But this is the panda bear room. It's kind of similar, except with grass and bamboo and flowers, with no water. Here's an ocean viewing room. He's supposed to be a secret, so I'm not gonna talk to him, but info dude right here tells you some info, or not info, but tells you that you should probably talk to this guy. And a relatively important relatively important dude over here is another NPC that you can use to return back to the admin room. So, oh, I forgot to mention, there's also this residential area that I built. It's not really that impressive. I guess it's just like rooms with beds. They're all differently colored. I tried to make it match the number of NPCs, but I kind of lost count from all of that before, so I'm not gonna worry about it. Let's go back to really important dude. Go back to the admin room. Come back. Go to the head dude and leave the facility. And when you leave the facility and beat the game, you are put in creative mode, and you can fly around and see everything. He's got a little nice view of these buildings and the simulation areas over there and there. And that basically concludes all the changes we made to the game since the beta test. We still have a little bit more to go, just a tiny bit. Very minor fix-ups or fixing of dialogue. Certain NPCs don't have commands or whatever. But yeah, that's pretty much it. This concludes the dev diary for this week. Thank you and goodbye.